the experts in the field, lots of great information, and we're looking forward to hearing all about the exciting opportunities that are available in this very important sector of the labor market. So take it away, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Deb. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm excited that we're here to be able to talk to you about apprenticeship. It's something that we need a lot of help with in the London community, and we need people to really consider this as a career. So it's a great opportunity for us to come and talk to you and give you just a little idea about what we're talking about when we say apprenticeship. Before I get started, I just wanted to remind you, if you could all put yourselves on mute, that would be great, so we don't hear any background noise and puppies barking and people talking. And we're going to take up the questions at the end of the presentation, or you can put them in the chat throughout, and we'll take them up after we're done presenting.
Anne-Marie, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
I forgot to let everyone know that this session is being recorded today. So if you'd like to change your name or turn your camera off, feel free to do so. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Deb. Just give you a minute to do that then. So today in the apprenticeship webinar that we're doing, we're going to cover a few things, general topics about apprenticeship. What it is, you know, we say this word a lot, but we're not really sure what it is and what's involved in the apprenticeship process. What we hope you get from today's webinar is also where you can find out more information, and most of all, where you can get help, because there are a whole bunch of people out in the community that are here and willing to help you. So what does apprenticeship mean? It's a word you hear a lot. It's a concept like a certification system. An apprenticeship is like becoming certified in something. And what's really unique about it is that you can learn while you're working on the job, and we call it earn while you learn. So you can earn while you learn a skilled trade. Now, the government of Ontario calls a skilled trade a career path that requires hands-on work and specialty knowledge. Skilled trades workers build and maintain infrastructures like our homes, our schools, hospitals, roads, farms, and parks. They keep industry running and perform many services we rely on every day, like hairstyling, food preparation, or social services. So when you think about everything that's going on in your community, the things that are going on in your house, the services that you access, many times that's a skilled trade, and the people who do that work were certified through an apprenticeship. What kinds of careers can start with an apprenticeship? A lot of times people think about electricians or plumbers, you know, at the top of your mind, and that's true. That is an apprenticeship. You go through an apprenticeship to become an electrician or a plumber. But there's over 144 careers to choose from that are considered an apprenticeship and that you can become certified in. They're classified under 4 different sections: motive, construction, service, and industrial. When you think of those sections, you might have an idea of what falls underneath each one, but I looked up under each section, and I have a few more ideas here that can sort of maybe help inspire you to think about this. So under construction, somebody could be a painter, a roofer, a cement finisher. You think about somebody's laying a driveway in cement, or the foundation of a building, a carpenter, or a sheet metal worker. Those are just some of the things that fall under construction. And in the industrial section, there's things like a blacksmith, an industrial electrician, a gas technician, a machinist, or even a water well driller. In the service section, there's an arborist, so somebody who cuts and takes care of trees. Appliance service technicians. When your refrigerator breaks down, the person who comes to repair it has probably been certified through the apprenticeship system to do that. A child and youth worker, a cook, or a hairstylist. And in the motive section, we have things like auto collision damage and repair. You know, you think about the automotive person that technicians that's taking care of cars and switching your wheels around and changing your oil. But there's a whole lot of other jobs that fall under motive. A motorcycle technician might be one of them, an automotive painter, an automotive glass tech, or even a marine engine technician. So when you think of every one of these categories, you can really expand your mind on what might fall under an apprenticeship. So what happens during an apprenticeship? This is the certification process. Well, if I can just remind you to mute yourself, please. Thank you. Can you please mute yourself, please? There we go. Thank you. So during the apprenticeship process, there's you in the middle, the apprentice, the person who's learning. Then we have the employer. That person's your mentor. That person's the person who, while you're on the job, will be teaching you all the skills and knowledge that he or she knows to help you learn what you're supposed to learn. The employer and the apprentice sign a training agreement. That's a contract where the employer commits to saying, I will do this. I will mentor you. I will train you. Then there's the on-the-job training. And that's all guided by something called a standard log book, the training standard log book. So inside the training standard, it's got all the bits and pieces of things that you should learn during this certification process. And it guides you and the employer through that process. There's also some in-school training. A lot of people think that maybe the apprenticeship is just for learning at work, but there's also usually some in-school training as well. And that's where you would go and learn about things like regulations or sort of the more general things that relate to the skilled trade that you're working in, that goes just beyond what you're doing on the job. And after you continue through the process, you get certified. So being an apprentice is a person who goes through this process, on the job training, some in-school training, and it's a certification process. It's an agreement between you and your employer and the Government of Ontario. So the Government of Ontario also signs some contracts with everybody to make sure they're all following through on the certification process. So where can you find out more about some of those trades that I was talking about? If you Google Skilled Trades Ontario, you'll come to the Government of Ontario's website. This is a really good starting point to find out some general information, because you might be thinking, I have a passion to do something, but I'm not sure if it's a skilled trade. This would be a good starting point. So for instance, what I did was I put in carpenter. You can see here in the search table to see what comes up, and oh, there we go. General carpenter came up. So when you opened up that section more, it tells you a little bit about that trade. You know, a general carpenter constructs and renovates and repairs structures and the different kinds of things that are involved in that trade. They also tell you at this website what you could typically make each year too. So that's a really good information to know, and that's actually quite motivational when you look at that. Also on this website, they'll tell you what you're going to learn on the job and what you learn in school. And they've actually included links to the actual training standard. If you remember that book that I told you about before that's going to overview all the bits and pieces that you need to learn, they've got it on this website. You can actually go into it and see if you're actually still interested in doing this and learning what you'll be learning. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mike from LIUNA, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about his experiences and why apprenticeship is a good way to go.
Hey, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me okay. My name's Mike Ropp. I can maybe offer a couple perspectives. So right now I'm the training director with the Laborers Union. So my job is to recruit and attract and interview apprentices. But if you go back far enough, I was an apprentice as well. So my trade was brick and stone masonry. And I got into the trade, interested in the trade through summer jobs. And it was just a personal interest that I had. I was always good at school, but I was a tactile learner. So I enjoy learning by doing or building and working with my hands. But in any trade, you have to be able to work with your hands and your head. So it's like any career, you know maybe where you're going to start, but it leads somewhere else. So why apprenticeship in general? I think it's a great option for a few reasons. So some of them being right now there's such a demand. So if you're looking for steady work or you want to be appreciated in a field where your work is, appreciated, then apprenticeship in any of the trades. I'm going to be specifically speaking from my experience in the construction trades are in high demand. It gives you the ability to work with your head in your hands and complete satisfying projects that at the end of the day, you can see what you've done. And for a lot of people, that gives you a sense of accomplishment. Anne-Marie already mentioned the earn while you learn training model. So the advantage of going the apprenticeship route is that you're really not typically left with any school debt at the end of it. So if you're looking at apprenticeship as a post-secondary career option outside of college or university, the advantage you'll have is that right from day one, you'll be earning a wage while you learn, and you will have no debt at the end of your apprenticeship. So it makes financial sense for sure. There are also numerous grants and training supports financially that are available for apprentices in Ontario through the provincial government and the federal government. And you get that information off of the website that was given through Anne-Marie too, through the College of Trades. There are incentive grants and completion grants to help you buy tools or reward you for completing a level of trade school along the path of your apprenticeship. And as mentioned, it gives you the ability to complement your on-the-job learning experiences with formal trade school training. So to help fill in the gaps of learning outcomes or skills that you might not be getting with your current employer or job placement. The next slide. In my mind, I had outlined a few things what it takes to be successful in a typical apprenticeship. So self-motivation and determination. You shouldn't have to rely on someone to tell you why to do something or why you would want to do something to get to the next level of your career. So anything that you can do to research your options, you really want to be picking a trade or a career that you're interested in. Not because someone told you that it would be good or directed you that way. If you're passionate about what you're going to be doing, then typically you're going to be successful in it too. But as an apprentice, you want to be able to have the ability to take direction from mentors or fellow workers. The typical ratio or rule of thumb is 90% of what you're going to learn as an apprentice is on the job, and 10% would be complemented by trade school training. So it's a challenge. You're going to be working with a lot of different people, a lot of different mentors who have experience. And the trick that you will have to learn to do is take all that good information and create your own skill set, and realize that some things you might be taught maybe aren't correct, and you have to be able to decipher that and create your own little tool package or skill set. Reliability is a huge issue. People are looking for people that are going to be part of a team, show up every day, and not have to be reminded of the importance of being there as part of that team as you progress through your apprenticeship. Specifically in construction, mobility is an asset if you have the ability to get to a job site. So often we may be having apprentices show up to a job site where we're building infrastructure or a subdivision, and there is no bus route there. There is no Timmy's on the corner for coffee break. So you have to pack your lunch and you have to be able to report to work. So either your own means of transportation or accessing some form of public transport, or have a network of some friends or family that can help you get established and report to work. That can be a challenge in construction because you're not reporting to the same place, same job site, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It can change. People that are successful in apprenticeship have the ability to learn concepts by being taught or shown, but not having to be taught the same thing over and over again. So you want to be able to be shown something, shown how to do something properly, and then learn by doing yourself. And hopefully, after you've hone those skills, you can learn the next skill, so that, as was mentioned, you can document your progress in your training standard logbook as you go through your apprenticeship. And in construction specifically, again, the ability to work in changing environments. So, you know, last week was cold, last week was wet, today is windy. The job sites are always changing. The team that you might be working with is always changing. And you should have the ability to work with people of different backgrounds, nationalities, age groups, just to be able to be a productive team member. Maybe the next slide, Anne-Marie. On that note, often construction work can be dirty, hot, cold, wet. It's physically demanding, but typically those are the type of things that attract people into the trades. If you're not the type of person that enjoys working with your hands and doing physical work, then apprenticeship may not be an option for you. But those are things that you would want to consider before you make that commitment. It is a big commitment from the employer's perspective as well. It's not easy to get an apprenticeship. The difficult part of the apprenticeship program is that you're doing your job search up front. So without a job or without a sponsor, you don't have an apprenticeship. So that can often be the challenging part for individuals, is getting that job. But hopefully, if you go that route, you find the right partnership, the right employer, because it is an investment on both people's parts. You do get good pay for an honest day's work, but again, as mentioned before, the benefit of working in a trade is you can see what you've done. On the other hand, if you're not a very productive worker, or you like hiding behind someone else and not doing your share, it's very evident at the end of the day what you have done or what you haven't done. So it's production oriented. If the employer is not making money, there won't be a job at the end of the day. So we have to work together to work effectively. Typically in construction, you can expect a 40 to 50 hour work week. Specifically with our apprenticeship program, just to give you a sense of what you could expect to make at the end of an apprenticeship, our full rate as a member who has the skills and experience and certification, the full range of pay varies from $46 to $50 an hour. And as can be typical with any apprenticeship, you're usually going to start as a first year apprentice at 50% of that rate. And our pay structure is such that you start at 50%, and as an apprentice, you earn $1 for every 400 hours worked. When you pass a level of trade school, you earn $1 increase to reward you and recognize the skills and experiences that you're gaining towards becoming a journey person. Next slide, I think. So not to bore you with some statistics or many statistics, but just to back up, everyone's saying that, you know, apprenticeship is in demand and construction is very busy. Those are all true. So the construction labor market stats provided by the Ontario Construction Secretariat, which represents all the unionized companies in Ontario, conducted a survey, and 56% of the contractors anticipate greater difficulty in accessing labor in general this year compared to the previous year. And in both the 2020 and 2019 surveys, 69% of the contractors anticipated greater difficulty in getting skilled labor compared to the year previous. So it's an ongoing concern. It's an issue. We are not struggling with it as a union, but we are challenged with it to recruit and attract enough people to A, meet the demand of upcoming workloads, but also prepare for the older demographic that's preparing or thinking about retirement. And the last point made there was 78% of the union contractors employed apprentices in 2021, compared to 54% of non-union contractors. So the only point I'll make there is one union advantage of working in a unionized environment is often we have more infrastructure or resources available to help recruit and support and assist apprentices along the way. And those numbers also spell out the fact that more union contractors are proactively looking out and seeking apprentices, because what can happen is sometimes one trade would steal from another trade, and we have to stop doing that. We have to start attracting more people to increase the number of apprentices. The next slide ahead on employers. Just a few basic points here. Employers need apprentices, and apprentices need employers. So as mentioned, it's a perfect partnership. It's finding the right fit from both perspectives. And the employers do have an ongoing and upcoming challenge to replace existing workers who are set to retire in the next few years. And I think the big challenge there is we not only have to replace those workers when they leave or when they retire, but if you think about how long an apprenticeship can take, 3 to 5 years on average, we need those mentors to pass on their knowledge before they leave. So it doesn't make any sense to bring in apprentices only when we need them now for the labor market. We have to take advantage of the wealth of knowledge and experience that those professionals have before they leave. And one point I wanted to make on the employer, I spoke to the fact that the big challenge is to find a job so that you can have an apprenticeship, and that is a challenge. From the union sector, the thing that we can offer is we represent, specifically with LIUNA, close to 300 different contractors. So we have a local apprenticeship committee that meets with union representation and employer representation, and our committee recruits apprentices, interviews apprentices, and you are assigned to the union. If company A runs out of work or leaves, we can transfer you to another company without canceling a contract and having you to go through that whole process over again. So the paperwork, the red tape is streamlined a little bit with us. And the advantage as an apprentice working within a union is you have access to many companies. So it would be very rare that you would be short or out of work. And I had a final slide just from my perspective. How could you start? Anne-Marie gave some good points there. If you're looking to research, I would suggest you do your research, and again, ensure that it's your passion. If you're really wanting to do that and set your sights high, then you'll be successful. Don't be afraid to use your existing networks of friends, family. Maybe you know someone in the trades already, and you can access that wealth of knowledge, and it serves a purpose if you do your research and find out, yeah, that's not for me. Now you can fine tune your search a little bit. So pick the trade that's right for you and then set a goal. Try and gain experience to ensure your decision is right. For example, co-op placements in school, if you're in school, maybe some summer employment or part-time jobs to test the waters. Perhaps you can volunteer somewhere. My experience was being raised on a farm. I always enjoyed working with my hands, but I did have an interest in masonry, just watching houses being built. So during the summer, I got a summer job. That's how I got my feet wet in the trade. And if you prove your worth, often you don't even have to ask to be an apprentice. They will offer you a position or buy you some tools, and really they don't want to let you go because you are such a hot commodity. Be prepared to sell yourself to prospective sponsors or employers that showcase your level of commitment or experiences that you may have. Reliability is huge. Even though we're in a really tight labor market where people are needed desperately, companies do not want part-time workers. They're not going to pay full-time wages for someone who misses 1 or 2 days every week for different reasons. You have to be reliable and showcase that and prove that. And if you are doing some cold searches, or maybe if you're looking for a job in construction for an opportunity to apprentice, a good start would be, if you don't have any connections, go through, take a drive through a subdivision where companies are working. But if you're going to do that, be prepared first of all, look the part. Don't show up with a three-piece suit if you want to help mix mortar or build scaffolding. Have the safety gear available, because often they will offer something right then and there. So if you're going to put yourself out there, be prepared for maybe an immediate offer. And remember that many jobs are filled before they're even posted on Kijiji or wherever. So use your connections to be proactive that way. And if you've had any past training or experiences or safety related training, if you're going to go present yourself, it is good to have those credentials on hand too, because safety certification goes hand in hand with showing up in a job. Everyone wants to go to work every day, but we want everyone to come home safely at the end of that day too. So it's a big part of the trade. Thank you. That's what I had for now.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. So next we're going to have a presentation from Jesse and Miriam, and they're from the Will Employment Connections and the Access Center for Regulated Employment. And they're going to talk about some of the support in the community that they can provide to you. Jesse and Miriam.
Everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Miriam Goyes. I'm employment counselor at Will Employment Connections. We have been helping everyone, mostly immigrants to the country, that are a big contribution to the labor market at this moment. What is that we do, or how you can access the employment counseling? Well, basically, Ontario offers the Employment Ontario agencies, and you can look for them in Google. But when you try to connect with Will, you simply call Will, ask for an appointment with an employment counselor, and there we can start working with you. What is good about connecting with the employment counselor? Basically, we are client centered, so we have the opportunity to work with you to help you to understand where are you starting, where are you standing, what is that you are bringing to this country already. Many of you are coming with a very good experience, could be in the trade. Many of you don't recognize what you have, and that will help you to get into a trade with success. So with the employment counselor, we do a full assessment on your situation. We contribute with some information. We guide you through this research. We call that career exploration, labor market research. So it's important for you to understand, okay, I want to be an electrician, but you don't understand the complete implications of becoming an electrician. So we work with you, helping you to understand, and maybe you won't be a great electrician, but you will be a great plumber or other trade. So it's important for us to communicate with you and help you to know and to understand. So we will help you with the career exploration, labor market research. After that, depending where you are at in your journey, we can be referring you to school, maybe, because for some trades, having your high school completed is important. So we can guide you through programs. Excuse me? Okay. To programs that can help you to validate your education that you have already from abroad, or you may be wanting to get your Ontario Secondary School diploma in Canada and you only need to take few courses, so we will guide you through the different opportunities. Literacy London is a great partner, so we can refer you to them, for example, to have your academic assessment, and they will build a plan with you to complete the requirements. At Will Employment Connections, after you meet with the employment counselor, after we prepare a good plan, and let's say that apprenticeship is your option, we recognize that one of the big challenges, as Mike said, is to find your sponsor. So we help you to get ready. We help you to prepare your self-marketing material, having a resume, having a cover letter, or having your speech ready to talk with the employer is very important. So we have a couple of very good employment preparation workshops where you will learn about how to do this, how to do your research, how to post yourself out there. After we do this employment preparation workshop, we work with you, helping you to find this sponsor. Is not easy. Something that somebody told me some time ago is like start dating. You don't select your partner for life with one meet. So probably start volunteering, start finding temp jobs, start trying you on the trade somehow will help. No, it's not that easy to go to an employer and say, do you want to be my sponsor for this trade? They need to get to know you. They need to know that you are committed, that you are really skilled, that you are worthy to be sponsored. That is a long-term commitment. You don't become an apprentice and you don't get certified in 1, 2, 3 months. That is a process. It could take years to have your full certification. The good thing with this process is that you earn while you learn. So you are working, you are getting money, you are getting your courses, and gradually you are advancing. There are some apprenticeships that have stages. So you become a plumber level 1, a plumber level 2, etc. So with your advancement, there comes more money, etc. So we work with you trying to look for this sponsor, or at least to get your foot in the door. When you come to Will, and for example, you have the curiosity, but you are not exactly sure that that is your call, that is your passion, we can do vocational assessments with you, helping you to evaluate your interest. So that is something that you can find when you approach an employment counselor. And in this research, basically talk with people, ask for advice. Part of what we recommend, go to talk with an employer, go to the site, try to get to know the workplace. Is a good way. It's getting out there. How to start the apprenticeship? Well, basically, Anne-Marie already got us a good summary of how to start, and Mike also offered a lot of information on how to start. Additional support. When you meet with the employment counselor, we refer you to places. One of the places that probably will refer to is to Luna, so you can talk with the people who knows and you can ask questions, but it's important to be prepared to ask the right type of questions. Yeah. The academic equivalence, already I told you, we will work different ways. One of the ways is literacy support. We have to do probably an academic assessment, or we need to do the validation of your credentials, the credentials that you have already obtained abroad. So for that, we can refer you to our partners. One of them is the Access Center. And with them, you can work with the trades equivalence assessment, and Jesse will explain more about that. I hope this information helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thanks, Marian. So my name is Jesse from the Access Center for Regulated Employment, which is part of Will Employment Connections. So we work with internationally trained professionals in all regulated professions, including skilled trades. So for those of you that have experience in a skilled trade internationally, the trade equivalency assessment, or TEA path, might be a good option for you. So what is a trade equivalency assessment, or TEA? The TEA is for experienced tradespeople who have not completed an Ontario apprenticeship, but who have equivalent qualifications and experience in a trade and want to become eligible to challenge the certification exam, or the CFQ exam. So to be approved, you have to have evidence. So nobody is going to earn any kind of certification if you can't prove your past experience. So how do you apply? The application is actually pretty easy, and that's what we're here for as well, is to help you one-on-one, to help you with the application. So first of all, there's an excellent guide, the TEA application guide. It will outline the entire process. Some courses, you'll note, that will have additional requirements. So for example, there's some electrical trades where you have to have, if you're applying for TEA, you have to have additional courses done before you apply for TEA. So we would help you to make a plan to do those courses. You would submit your application with your identification, the evidence of your experience. So usually this would be letters from your employer that have details about the skills and competencies that you have in that individual trade. The Ontario College of Trades will then, once they have a completed application, they will evaluate or assess your application to see if your experience in that trade meets what an Ontario apprentice would have to go through in terms of the time and the competencies completed. And if you match that, one of the possible outcomes is that you would be eligible for the exam. The other outcome is that you're not. So it's a yes or no situation with a trade equivalency application. At some point in the process, the college will also likely want to interview you. So you don't have to worry about if your country, or if your language proficiency isn't very high, or if your referees from your country, if they don't speak English or French, that's okay. The College of Trades will hire a third-party organization to contact referees in other countries in that language. So that's not a problem. So when you think about if you're considering doing this and you want to know what supports are available, well, the Access Center and Will Employment Connection is here to help you with this. So first of all, if you sat down with me or my colleagues, we would help to identify what is the training standard. So what are the skills and competencies of that trade? And do you actually have that? So so we, like Marian was saying, we kind of identify your fit into the skilled trade system and make an assessment to see, would you put in a good application for a trade equivalency assessment? So we would help you to review all the competencies and skills and see if it matches. Then we would help you to make a plan, because sometimes it's not easy to get the letters. So if you, for example, if you've come to the country and you don't have those letters, well, we need some kind of evidence. So we would explore with you, how could you get those letters, outlining the information that's required for the TEA application. So we'd say, do you have that evidence already? And if not, can you obtain it? And if you've come to Canada as a refugee without documents, it might be possible to submit alternate evidence. So we would help you to put together the application form, the evidence, the identification, and talk about how to support you financially to apply for the TEA. And then you would submit that all by email and await the college's decision. And like I said, the college will say it's approved or it's not approved. If it's approved, then you start thinking about, okay, now I need to take the exam. So how do I prepare for the exam and what resources are available? So we would help you to make a plan and figure out what resources are available to you, which ones can you access, how much do they cost, can we help you with that? And if your TEA application is not approved, that means you would have to go and start an apprenticeship. I think that's it for the TEA. Anne-Marie, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Jesse. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Apprenticeship Network. That's who I'm here representing today. I am one of the co-chairs on the Apprenticeship Network. And so what is it? It's a group of people who are service providers who all work with people who have apprenticeship as part of their goals. So on the Apprenticeship Network, we actually have a website that you can go to and find out more about apprenticeship in general. There's portals there for employers, for students and job seekers, or parents and teachers. If you want to go in there and find out more about apprenticeship, then that's a good place to start, and that's the Apprenticeship Network. Also on the Apprenticeship Network, we have a contact us section, and I'm going to tell you, if you're stuck on what to do next, contact us. This group of people, we cover London and Middlesex, Oxford and Elgin County, and again, we're all people who work with people who have apprenticeship as a goal. So what happens when you put your question into contact us? Usually it comes to me, but I know who's sitting on the Apprenticeship Network, who sits on this committee, and who can help you answer your question. We get questions from employers wondering about apprenticeship. You know, somebody contacted us the other day to say, I want to be an electrician, but I don't know what to do next. That's just a good question, and I can put that out to the people on the committee, and we'll find the best person to help you respond and get to your next step. Also on the website, if you look under the members page, all the people who are members on the Apprenticeship Network are listed there. And each one of these logos is a live link to their contact information. So this is just one short little snap of over, I think there's probably about 30 people that are on this network. And they represent employment agencies like Marian and Jesse were talking about. So those people that can help you do some self-reflection, some career direction research. If you're not sure which step to take next, they can help you do that. They can help you prepare to meet with an employer, to do your interview, to do your cover letters, your resumes, package you up the best way possible so that when you can go and meet with an employer and try to get somebody to help you start with your apprenticeship. Also on this committee are the couple of the school boards, the Thames Valley School Board, the London District Catholic School Board, and Literacy Link South Central, which is a place where I work. And all those organizations help with your academic piece. Literacy Link South Central can help you if you haven't finished high school and you're not sure what to do next. Or maybe you have finished high school, but you know your math isn't very good and you're thinking of becoming a carpenter, and math is pretty important in many of the trades. Literacy Link South Central can direct you to a program that's free, that can help you work on the skills that you need to be successful. So here again, on the Apprenticeship Network website is the Contact Us section. And your question, whatever question you have, I will put out to the rest of the members and they give me the answer back, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible with whatever question you have. So whether you're a service provider or somebody that's looking for a job, start there if you're completely lost, because then we can help you find the next step and the service that's closest to you that can help you. And I hope that what you got most from this presentation today is just these 3 steps. You know, think about apprenticeship as a career option. It is, again, you've heard the earn while you learn model, that you're learning on the work site. There's government incentives available to help you complete, to motivate you to finish it, to help you get tools. So really it's a career choice and a certification process that you could walk away from not owing any money, and you'll be a very valuable person to the community because we need skilled tradespeople now more than ever, and it's not going to get any easier to find skilled tradespeople in the future. So you'd have huge job security. But think about your fit. Think about your passion and your interests and what apprenticeship might fit that. Remember the Skilled Trades Ontario website, the government website, where you could just sort of put in carpenter or whatever kinds of things you want to do to see if it's considered one of the 144 apprenticeship options. Explore the possibilities, look at different websites, see what they say about the skilled trade you're thinking of going into, talk to other people who may be already in the skilled trade. If you want to be a hairstylist, go and find a hairstylist to talk to and see what it's like and how they became a hairstylist. Or your auto mechanic, how did they become an auto mechanic? So think about your fit, explore the possibilities, and above all, find help. Please don't stay home and feel stuck. There's a whole bunch of us out here in the community that are willing to help you and they're passionate about the skilled trades and apprenticeship. We do get paid by the government to offer services. They're free for the most part, and we want to help you. So you should never feel stuck. There's probably one piece of the puzzle we can each help you with to make your career goals successful. And with that, I'm going to wrap up my piece for the day. And again, LaUna and Will, the Access Center for Regulated Employment, and then all the members of the Apprenticeship Network are out in the community, and we're here to help you. Contact us is the easiest way to get through the Apprenticeship Network, and we can maybe get you an answer there. So that's the end of our presentation, and I'm just going to turn it over now for any questions.
Hi, Anne-Marie. My name's
Hi.
Marianne. I'm Deb's partner. I've been monitoring the chat, and I can say that I think we don't have any questions at this point. I think the information has been very clear and very explained. I think folks are comfortable with that. And again, as Anne-Marie said, information has been given as to if you have specific questions about your situation. These people are passionate about what they do, and they would love to hear from you. Trevor at the start included the link at the top that has this meeting recorded, so you can re-see it. On behalf of Deb and myself in employment, we'd like to truly express our gratitude for these folks for giving up their time to come and talk to us and explain the ins and outs of apprenticeship. And I have learned a lot. I think it was very good information, and it is our hope that everyone watching has gleaned some new information too. So I guess on that note, I guess we can conclude and say thank you very much for attending today. This has been great information.
Yes, excellent information. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good day.
Okay, take care.